This is the simple story of America's first coins. It is a journey that begins in the year 1787. In those early days, the new nation needed its own money for trade and for trust. Coins were not just pieces of metal. They were symbols of independence. They told a story of art, of hard work, economic dreams. This essay will walk you through the most important coins in American history. It explains how a single coin design from 1787 grew into the billions of coins we see in circulation today. The story of official American coinage begins in 1787. The Fugio cent was authorized by the Congress of the Confederation. Many call it the very first American coin. Its design is full of meaning. Obverse: sun over a sundial. Legend: mind your business. Above: Fugio, I fly. Time flies. A message: be productive, don't waste time. Often called the Franklin cent, widely attributed to Benjamin Franklin. Reverse: 13 interlocking chain links. Inside: we are one. Each link equals one of the original 13 states. The unbroken chain signifies unity. These were struck from copper as small change, authorized but not struck at a federal mint. They were produced by subcontractors. Exact mintage is unclear. Many thousands were produced, far fewer than the millions later produced. The year 1793 marked a major milestone in American history. It was the year the first official United States coins were struck at the newly established U.S. Mint in Philadelphia. The Coinage Act of 1792 had laid the groundwork, and now the nation was ready to produce its own money. The very first denominations struck for circulation were the copper half cent and the large cent. These coins were designed for everyday transactions, allowing people to make small purchases without relying on barter or foreign currency. The first director of the mint, a renowned scientist named David Rittenhouse, oversaw this historic production, with Henry Voigt serving as the first chief coiner. The first large cent design of 1793 is known as the chain cent. It featured a profile of liberty with long, flowing hair on the front. On the back, it had a design of 15 interlocking chain links, meant to symbolize the 15 states of the Union at that time. The original 13 Vermont, Kentucky. However, the public reaction to this design was not positive. Some critics said the chain looked like a symbol of slavery, not unity. Others commented that the depiction of liberty on the front looked frightened. The mint listened to the feedback and quickly moved to change the design within the same year. In response to the criticism, the mint introduced the wreath cent later in 1793. This new design kept a similar profile of liberty on the front, but the reverse was changed to show a wreath instead of a chain. Marketing: a side-by-side comparison of the 1793 chain cent and the 1793 wreath cent, highlighting the design change. This was seen as a much more elegant and less controversial symbol. Just 1 year after the first copper coins, the U.S. Mint was ready to produce its first silver coins. The years 1794 and 1795 saw the creation of the nation's first silver dollar. This coin is known as the flowing hair dollar. Its design featured the same liberty with long, flowing hair that was seen on the early cents, but this time she was rendered in beautiful silver. The reverse of the coin showed a rather skinny-looking eagle surrounded by a wreath. These coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and their creation was a powerful statement. A silver dollar represented the top of the monetary system, a symbol of the nation's economic strength and stability. The 1794 flowing hair dollar is one of the rarest and most famous coins in all of American history. The coin press used at the mint in 1794 was small and not powerful enough to strike such a large silver coin with a perfectly clear image. As a result, many of the coins were weakly struck. The total mintage for the $1,794 was just 1,758 coins. Because so few were made, and even fewer have survived in good condition, they are incredibly valuable today. One particularly well-preserved example of the $1,794 sold at auction for over $10 million in modern times, making it one of the most expensive coins ever sold. In 1795, the design of the silver dollar was updated. This new design is called the draped bust dollar. It featured a more refined and elegant portrait of Liberty, with her hair tied back in a ribbon and a drape of cloth covering her bust. The eagle on the reverse was also made larger and more majestic in a later version of this coin, known as the heraldic eagle reverse. The draped bust design was used on the dollar from 1795 until 1804. Mintage numbers for these dollars were higher than for the 1794 coin, but they were still quite small compared to later coin production. These coins were the backbone of large-scale commerce in the late 18th century. A famous story surrounds the 1804 draped bust dollar. It is often called the King of American Coins. Interestingly, no silver dollars were actually struck with the date 1804 in that year. The coins bearing this date were secretly struck by the mint decades later, in the 1830s. They were created to be included in special coin sets given as diplomatic gifts to foreign rulers. Because they were not made for circulation and were produced under such unique circumstances, only a handful of them exist. This mysterious origin story, combined with their extreme rarity, has made the $1,804 a legendary and highly sought-after prize for the world's most serious coin collectors. Section 5. An Era of Expansion. Seated Liberty Coinage, 1836 to 1891. As America expanded westward during the 19th century, its coinage needed to keep pace. The Seated Liberty series ran for over 50 years and became one of the most recognizable designs of the era. This elegant design was featured on most of the nation's silver coins. Lineup: dime, quarter, half dollar, dime, quarter, half dollar, and the dollar. The front of the coin showed the figure of Liberty seated on a rock. She holds a shield with the word Liberty inscribed on it, and in her other hand she holds a pole with a liberty cap on top. This image symbolized a nation that was now established and at peace. The Seated Liberty design was created by Christian Gobrecht, an engraver at the U.S. Mint. Over its long run, the design saw several minor changes. Stars were added around Liberty on the front. Different styles of eagles and wreaths appeared on the back. These small variations help collectors identify the exact year and era of a coin. This series also marked expansion of the U.S. Mint system. Early coins were only made in Philadelphia, New Orleans, O Mint Mark, San Francisco, S Mint Mark, Carson City, CC Mint Mark. These coins were the workhorses of the American economy for much of the Victorian era. They were used in daily life, buying groceries, paying wages. Unlike the very rare early dollars, many Seated Liberty coins were produced in large numbers. By the middle and late 1800s, mints struck hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions, each year. This increased production supported the country's growing population and expanding commerce. Finding a Seated Liberty coin today is like finding a direct link to the lives of ordinary Americans in the 19th century. Despite higher mintages, some Seated Liberty coins are still quite rare and valuable. Coins from the Carson City Mint, for instance, are highly prized by collectors. This mint was only open for a short time and generally produced fewer coins. Certain years had very low production numbers, making them scarce today. The long history of this series and the variety of denominations and mint marks make it a fascinating area for collectors. The Seated Liberty design truly represents an entire era of American history, from the age of Jackson to the dawn of the Gilded Age. Section 6. The Silver Giants, the Trade Dollar, the Morgan Dollar, 1873 to 1921. The Trade Dollar, produced from 1873 to 1885. It wasn't made for circulation inside the United States. It was created specifically for trade with Asia, especially China. Merchants needed a large silver coin to compete with Spanish and Mexican dollars. The trade dollar was slightly heavier than a standard U.S. silver dollar. Its design featured a seated Liberty facing the sea. The trade dollar had a complicated history. It worked in foreign trade, but its legal tender status in the U.S. was revoked in 1876. Many still circulated in America, often trading for less than their face value. Production for business stopped in 1878. The mint made small numbers of special proof versions for collectors until 1885. Because of its unique purpose and troubled history, the trade dollar is a fascinating piece for numismatists. Just as the trade dollar was being phased out, the Morgan dollar arrived, struck from 1878 to 1904, and again for one final year in 1921. It's named for its designer, George T. Morgan. The obverse features a powerful portrait of Lady Liberty modeled on Anna Willis Williams. The reverse shows a proud eagle with its wings spread. The Morgan was created by the Bland-Allison Act, requiring the government to buy large amounts of silver. Millions upon millions of Morgan dollars were minted, some years into the tens of millions. Many never circulated. They sat in massive bags in bank vaults and treasury facilities for decades. In the 1960s, the government released huge quantities to the public. That release sparked a surge of interest in coin collecting. While many Morgan dates are common, Carson City CC issues and low mintage years remain rare and highly valuable. They capture the spirit of America's Gilded Age. Section 7. The Golden Age. St. Gaudens and America's Artistic Coins, 1907 to 1933. At the beginning of the 20th century, Roosevelt thought America's coins were uninspired. He wanted the nation's money to be as beautiful and grand as the country itself. He personally commissioned Augustus St. Gaudens to redesign the nation's gold coins. The result? The St. Gaudens Double Eagle, a $20 gold piece first minted in 1907. This coin was a true masterpiece of numismatic art. The front shows Liberty striding forward. She holds a torch. She holds an olive branch, with the U.S. Capitol in the background. The reverse features a majestic eagle flying with the sun's rays behind it. The very first versions were struck in high relief. High relief created an almost three-dimensional effect. But high relief was difficult to mint. The design was lowered for mass production. Even the standard version is a work of art. This period is often called the Renaissance of American coinage. The $10 Indian head eagle, the $5 Indian head, and the $2.50 Indian head. These designs moved away from Greek-style portraits and embraced American themes. The Indian head designs were incuse. The design was sunken into the surface. That incuse look set them apart and made them instant classics. The era of circulating gold coins came to an abrupt end in 1933. During the Great Depression, FDR issued an executive order making private gold ownership illegal. The government recalled all gold coins, and the vast majority were melted into gold bars. That action created one of the rarest and most valuable coins, the 1933 St. Gaudens Double Eagle. Almost the entire mintage was destroyed, but a few examples managed to escape the melting pots. One survivor sold at auction for over $18 million, cementing its legendary status. Section 8. From Silver to Clad. The Coins of a Modern Century, 1916 to present. The early 20th century continued the artistic renewal of American coinage, bringing new designs to the smaller silver coins used every day. In 1916, 3 new iconic designs appeared. Mercury dime, officially the winged Liberty head dime, Liberty with a winged cap. People often called it the Mercury dime. Walking Liberty $50, Liberty striding toward the sunrise. That design was later used on the American Silver Eagle. Standing Liberty quarter, Liberty holding a shield in a defensive pose. These coins circulated for decades. They are now classic collector's pieces. After World War I, the nation wanted a coin to celebrate the return of peace. That desire led to the peace dollar in 1921. It replaced the Morgan dollar. Peace dollar obverse, a serene portrait of liberty. Peace dollar reverse, an eagle at rest. It was struck until 1935. It was the last silver dollar made for circulation. The era of precious metals and everyday coins was slowly coming to an end. In 1932, the Washington quarter was introduced to honor Washington's 200th birthday. The Jefferson nickel followed in 1938. The Roosevelt dime debuted in 1946. A major change came in 1965 as silver prices rose. The government removed silver from dimes and quarters. They were replaced by a copper-nickel-clad composition. For the first time, America's circulating coins contained no precious metal. The Kennedy half-dollar debuted in 1964 with 90% silver to honor the late president. Its silver content was reduced and later eliminated in subsequent years. Modern coins, Lincoln cent, Jefferson nickel, Roosevelt dime, Washington quarter, and Kennedy half, became the familiar faces of American money. The turn of the 21st century brought another wave of innovation. The 50-state quarters program, 1999 to 2008, was a massive success. It introduced millions of people to coin collecting. That was followed by series honoring national parks and a series honoring American women. The U.S. Mint now uses modern high-speed presses that can strike thousands of coins per minute. Coins are made at the Philadelphia Mint, P. Denver Mint, D. for circulation. Special collector versions are made in San Francisco, S. and West Point, W. From silver classics to modern-clad coins, the story of American money continues to evolve. Section 9. Conclusion. From handfuls to billions. A legacy that survives. The journey of American coinage, the 1787 Fujio cent, the billions of coins produced today, is a reflection of the nation's own growth. We have moved from small, hand-operated presses that struggled to strike a few thousand coins to massive, automated factories producing billions annually. The early coins, simple copper, precious silver, were symbols of a new nation's fight for economic independence. Today's coins, advanced metal alloys, are the dependable tools of a vast and complex economy. Each change in design, metal, mintage, tells part of this uniquely American story. The survival of these coins is remarkable. Many of the earliest pieces are lost to time, melted down for their metal, lost in the soil, worn away from use. Yet many were saved, kept as keepsakes, hoarded in large quantities, bags of Morgan dollars in treasury vaults. Today, millions of historic coins survive in collections worldwide, found in high-end auctions, local coin shops, jars of old pocket change. The thrill of finding a rare date or a unique era coin continues to captivate collectors of all ages. For those interested in collecting, the story of U.S. coins offers endless possibilities. A collector might focus on a single type of coin, like the Lincoln cent, and try to find one from every year and mint. Another might seek out the beautiful artistic designs of the early 20th century. The condition of a coin is very important. A rare coin in poor, worn-out shape can be worth less than a common coin that looks like it just left the mint. Learning to check dates, mint marks, and the telltale signs of wear is the first step in this rewarding hobby. It is crucial to protect these small pieces of history in soft holders and never clean them harshly, as that can destroy their value. Mind your business on the first cent. National Parks Quarter Designs. American coins are more than just money. They are miniature historical documents. They are works of art that fit in the palm of your hand. They tell the story of presidents, artists, wars, and peaceful progress. Whether it is a rare $1794 worth millions or a common 1943 steel cent from World War II, each coin carries a legacy. This short history has illuminated the path from the first few coins to the millions in circulation today, showing why these small metal discs remain a source of fascination and pride.